Good afternoon and welcome inside Cross Insurance Arena in downtown Portland, Maine. We've finally reached the championship day for Class AA. The girls' regional finals are up first, and we've got the Northern Championship first. It's the top seed, the Oxford Hills Vikings, at 17-3 up against the number 3 seed, the Edward Little High School Red Eddies, at 13-7. I'm Jeff Mannix. Rick Simons is alongside. Today's broadcast is being brought to you by C.N. Brown Company, providing the best heating oil services throughout New England for 70 years. Our 76 Big Apple stores and 26 heating oil offices throughout Maine and New Hampshire proudly support the 2018 MPA girls and boys basketball tournaments on NSN. Rick, these two teams have already played each other. They're quite familiar with one another, and I think we probably expect a pretty good ball game today.
Well, not only have they played one another, but this is a rivalry of long standing. And so I know that these young ladies played each other all the way up through, and I'm sure they can't wait to this, the latest version of the rivalry.
Without a doubt, these two played twice during the regular season. They split the results the opening day of the season. Edward Little won at Oxford Hills 49-42, while Oxford Hills returned the favor at EL in Auburn on January the 25th by a score of 53-37. We'll give you the keys to the game and the tip-off to the Class AA Girls North Final next. You're watching it on the C.N. Brown Energy and Big Apple Stores NSN Broadcast Network.
Watch it.
Seems like a good time for a rally beard.
Probably going to take a miracle to get back in this game.
Is it doing it?
Yeah.
Roberts on the steal.
Well,
We have done our work.
You can stop now.
Yeah, I wish I could.
A rally out of nowhere, and they are back in it.
C.N. Brown Energy is the only local family-owned company bringing New England energy options to your home or business for over 70 years. You can trust us for your electricity and heating fuel needs to cool you in the summer, warm you in the winter, and keep your home or business going year-round. Visit us online at cnbrown.com to find an energy office near you. Support the company that supports your team. Stop by one of our 76 Big Apple stores for all your post-game treats on your ride home.
It's time to start thinking summer fun. Let Gibraltar Pools and Spas turn your backyard into a resort paradise. Winners of over 27 industry design awards with famous on-ground rectangular pools. At Gibraltar Pools and Spas, you'll get personal attention and cheerful friendliness. Call 1-800-USA-SWIM today and speak with your friends at Gibraltar Pools to schedule your backyard survey. It's time for you to check them out online at usaswim.com. That's usaswim.com. Build your own resort right in your yard. Gibraltar Pools online at usaswim.com or call them at 1-800-USA-SWIM.
C.N. Brown Energy is the only local family-owned company bringing New England complete energy options since 1948. We invite you to join our complete energy offering program to include electricity and all heating fuels. Visit cnbrownenergy.com to learn how to get the energy savings and value you deserve. In addition to being an energy provider, we own and operate 76 Big Apple stores throughout Maine and New Hampshire. We encourage you to stop by for all your post-game needs: gasoline, beverages, snacks, and more.
It's the Class AA Girls North Championship game at Cross Insurance Arena. The third-seeded Edward Little High School Red Eddies of Auburn up against the top-seeded Oxford Hills High School Vikings of South Paris. I'm Jeff Mannix. Rick Simons is alongside. Time for our keys to the game for this one, Rick. And key number one for Oxford Hills, they need to shoot the ball as well as they did in the semifinal against Cheverus.
Well, I'm not sure that's possible. I know both coaches said after the game that they were kind of blown away, and it's it's unusual coming into a different size building with a different backdrop to see a team shoot as well as they did. But boy, they were terrific.
And key number two for Edward Little, they will make their hay by getting the ball inside.
You know, they really tore Portland apart with their penetration. And I know Portland does an outstanding job trying to extend pressure and half-court traps and all, but they couldn't stop the penetration of the EL girls, and that's what we need to see today if they're going to be able to be, especially if Oxford Hills is shooting like they did the other day.
And key number 3, there's definitely star players on both sides of this, but depth is likely to be a decisive factor.
You know, depth is something that's often overlooked. You look to the stars, but, you know, more often than not, and we're getting ready for March Madness coming up with the college basketball, how often do we see somebody step up that is least expected and plays a major role? So I think you're right. Bench scoring could be very significant.
Well, these two teams, as we mentioned, have played twice before, with each winning on the other's home floor. As these two teams both here, they're both regional champions within the last 2 years. Edward Little won the first ever Northern Maine Class AA crown. Oxford Hills won it last year, although both teams fell in the state championship game to one of the teams we're going to see in the Class AA South game coming up after this one. That's the Gorham Rams, who are the two-time defending state champs.
You know, coming into the tournament, it's kind of interesting in that the Red Eddies had lost 4 out of their last 7 games. So they really kind of caught people by surprise. Not that they've won, but that they've played so extremely well. And they were outstanding in their last ball game as they beat Portland by 20.
That they did, as they really led from the very, very start. Oxford Hills the same, although Chevrolet pushed them at the end, maybe took their foot off the pedal a little bit too much in the second half.
I think a lot of times when you have a big lead, you have a tendency to look at the score clock and, you know, hurry up, let's get the end of the game, and you stop being quite as aggressive as you were early on that built the lead. But this is a team, as you mentioned, they lost early on to EL, but they've consistently gotten better throughout the course of the season.
And we remind you that this telecast is copyrighted by NSN for the private use of our audience. Any other use of this telecast or of any pictures, descriptions, or accounts of the game without NSN's consent is prohibited. We'll have the tip-off for the Class AA North Girls Championship next. Edward Little's and Oxford Hills here on the CN Brown Energy Big Apple Stores NSN Broadcast Network.
CN Brown Energy is the only local family-owned company bringing New England energy options to your home or business for over 70 years. You can trust us for your electricity and heating fuel needs to cool you in the summer, warm you in the winter, and keep your home or business going year-round. Visit us online at cnbrown.com to find an energy office near you. Support the company that supports your team. Stop by one of our 76 Big Apple stores for all your post-game treats on your ride home.
Watch it.
Another miss.
Seems like a good time for a rally beard.
Probably going to take a miracle to get back in this game.
Is it doing it?
Yeah.
Roberts on the steal.
Well,
We have done our work.
you can stop now.
Yeah, I wish I could.
A rally out of nowhere, and they are back in it.
CN Brown Energy is the only local family-owned company bringing New England complete energy options since 1948. We invite you to join our complete energy offering program to include electricity and all heating fuels. Visit cnbrownenergy.com to learn how to get the energy savings and value you deserve. In addition to being an energy provider, we own and operate 76 Big Apple stores throughout Maine and New Hampshire. We encourage you to stop by for all your post-game needs: gasoline, beverages, snacks, and more.
It's time to start thinking summer fun. Let Gibraltar Pools and Spas turn your backyard into a resort paradise. Winners of over 27 industry design awards with the famous on-ground rectangular pools. At Gibraltar Pools and Spas, you'll get personal attention and cheerful friendliness. Call 1-800-USA-SWIM today and speak with your friends at Gibraltar Pools to schedule your backyard survey. It's time for you to check them out online at usaswim.com. That's usaswim.com. Build your own resort right in your yard. Gibraltar Pools online at usaswim.com or or call them at 1-800-USA-SWIM.
Watch it.
Seems like a good time for a rally beard.
Probably going to take a miracle to get back in this game.
Is it doing it?
Yeah.
Roberts on the steal.
Well,
We have done our work.
you can stop now.
Yeah, I wish I could.
A rally out of nowhere, and they are back in it.
Welcome back on the CN Brown Energy and Big Apple Stores NSN Broadcast Network. I'm Jeff Mannix with Rick Simons. Today, first of 4 regional finals from Cross Insurance Arena. It's the Class AA Girls North Final. Up first, Edward Little against Oxford Hills. For the third-seeded Red Eddies of Edward Little, the starters are Jade Perry, Grace Fontaine, Grace Baudette, Chantel Owen, and Piper Norcross. For the Oxford Hills Vikings, the number 1 seed, the starters are Cecilia Dietrich, Margaret Hartnett, Mairead LaLiberty, Jada Adams, and Julia Colby. Edward Little in the maroon uniforms, white trim, they go left to right. Oxford Hills, the home whites with the green trim, they go right to left. EL wins the tap. It's Norcross on the right wing to Perry out top, penetrates, kicks it out, and now Perry pops out again to catch the pass. Going against LaLiberty, good look inside, and it's off the window for 2 by Chantel Willett.
Much as we said pregame, and there's another attack in the basket. Nice penetration.
Shot for 3 by LaLiberty. That's off the mark. And it stays 2-0 Edward Little as they score on their first possession, and Oxford Hills comes up empty. Willett kicks out to Fontaine. She loses the handle, does a good job to dive to the floor to keep the possession that time. Norcross to Perry out top. Perry spins into the lane, kick out to the right for Norcross. Good drive inside, can't get it to go. Rebound is out of bounds, last touched by Oxford Hills.
Nice penetration there. Julia Colby overcommitted on that shot fake and was fortunate that they didn't get burned on that.
So now, with the basketball once again, it's Grace Fontaine. They'll work it to Norcross one more time. Norcross to Willett. Piper Norcross, right foul line extended. Now the drive and the shot off the window, no for Norcross. Rebound out of bounds, last touched by the Vikings. The Eddies keep it again.
Oxford Hills playing a tight man-to-man, and right now Edward Little struggling a little bit to get a shot, and what happened early on was the backdoor cut. We'll see if that's available here soon.
So with the ball was Perry. Gets it over to the left of the key. Now Fontaine, her drive cut off, has to get it back out to Grace Baudette. Baudette, they'll work it again to Perry. She'll launch 3, and it's good.
And that was outside the NBA 3. We often see the players get a little bit confused with all those lines.
Dietrich inside, no good, out of bounds off of Jada Adams of Oxford Hills, and Edward Little 2 minutes in have a 5-0 lead. So a good start so far as we'll see the Adams 3. As Edward Little with the 5-point early lead. Baudette got it to Willett. Adams, loose ball there. Fontaine couldn't quite come away with it. And a good job by Dietrich to pull it in. Adams called for the charge that time. It's not Adams, rather it's Julia Colby.
Terrific defensive positioning there by Edward Little.
Now you see the play as taking the hit was Jada Adams. Or pardon me, Jade Perry that time for Edward Little. Norcross, kick out, Fontaine for three, back rimmed it. Rebound to Willette. Fontaine drives in, puts it up, and gets the roll.
Coach Pelletier choosing not to call a timeout with a 7-point deficit early.
Hartnett to Colby. Dietrich, left elbow, lost the handle, got it back. Good dump off pass, and Jada Adams scores the first two for Oxford Hills.
Sometimes it's build confidence by not immediately calling timeout.
4:51 to go, first quarter. 7-2, Edward Little. Perry to Bodette. Now Fontaine, good little dump pass to Perry in the corner. It rattled in and out. And Mairead LaLiberty with the rebound, and a foul called on Fontaine.
You know, we talked a great deal about LaLiberty's last ball game. Set a record 27 points. I mentioned to you this is head and shoulders above the norm for her, a career high, and kind of strange after watching how well she performed that she was not even selected to the league all-star team.
And here's LaLiberty right there, gets stripped of the ball, recovered by Dietrich, and a foul called on Grace Fontaine, who picks up her second in a matter of about 10 seconds.
And when I say that, I'm certainly not trying to impugn anybody in terms of the selection or her ability. It just shows you what a phenomenal game she had in the semifinal.
Yeah, Mairead LaLiberty scored 27 against Cheverus, establishing a new Northern Maine Class AA tournament record for most points in a single game, eclipsing the mark set by Abby Cavallero the year before, who plays for Cheverus and was on the floor when Mairead LaLiberty broke that record in the semifinal. Norcross with it now. They get it to Jade Perry. Turns around and hits the jump shot.
Perry is brimming with confidence, and the only shot she missed rimmed in and out.
Cecilia Dietrich, LaLiberty. Pardon me, that was Brooke Carson just off the bench. Spinning into the lane, Dietrich over a double team, and she walked with it. It's about as good a start as Edward Little could have asked for here. Up 7 points, a little beyond the midway point of the first quarter, with a berth in the Class AA North State Championship game on the line. And saving it in is Bodette as Perry tried the scoop shot. It's off the mark, and Mairead LaLiberty able to grab it for the Vikes. Dietrich attacks the paint, kicks out for Carson, spins away from the pressure. Dietrich, a three, rattled in and out a couple times, and Perry gets it for EL. Up ahead, looking for Hannah Chaput just off the bench. Bodette with the ball now. Grace Bodette. Again, Hannah Chaput. She had a big game off the bench in the semifinal, and she draws a foul here to head to the line.
Yeah, she certainly did. Was singularly instrumental in breaking the pressure of Portland, and has the ability to get to the basket at will, it seems, because she is a terrific handler.
Chaput to the line to shoot two. Makes the first. She had 12 points in the semifinal victory over Portland.
And what a weapon coming off the bench. That's a nice thing that you're able to do. You know, Coach Cifelli doesn't start her, but yet, boy, does she provide a spark when she comes in.
So both free throws good for Chaput, and the lead is 11-2 for Edward Little. 2:56 remaining in the first quarter. Foul on that play, by the way, was on Cecilia Dietrich, her first for Oxford Hills, their second team foul. Dietrich with the ball now. Drives in, the runner doesn't go. And the offensive putback no good for Adams, and this time it's cleared by Perry. Jade Perry gives it to Norcross. And Chaput stripped of the ball by Julia Colby. Colby driving all the way, no good. Put back, Adams, no. And loose, and losing it is Carson, but foul called against Norcross.
Boy, it seems like there's a lid on the basket at this point for Oxford Hills. And they need Julia Colby to get offensively involved here. She took that shot, but we've seen her make several threes.
The Liberty from the middle of the lane gets the roll. Makes it 11-4. 2:05 to go, first quarter. Perry, near the three-point arc, able to get it to Shampoo. Shampoo has it ripped away, and keeping the dribble as she fell was Dietrich. Now it's loose on the floor, and Oxford Hills kept it somehow. La Liberty left block, double-teamed, and a foul on the Eddies.
That was terrific composure by Dietrich. She was on the floor, and she actually continued to dribble the ball for a couple of seconds until she was kind of attacked by Chaput, and then she found a teammate. So just great composure.
Mairead La Liberty hits the first free throw. You see the play there as she was dribbling on her knees, did an excellent job, somehow maintained pivoting while on her knees to keep the possession.
Well, what you can't do in that is you can't, roll over in any way, gain an advantage, but she certainly never did that, so just a terrific play.
The Liberty hit both free throws to cut the EL lead to 11-6. Perry to Willette. Chantel Willette. Bounce pass to Chaput. Hannah Chaput again to Willette. Willette. Kick out Chaput, three does not go. And it's Mairead La Liberty with the rebound again, and she's fouled in the backcourt by Chaput. That is her second.
And their fifth foul already in the first quarter.
EL in a little bit of team foul trouble anyway. Chantel Willette checks out now for Edward Little. She's replaced by Julia Mix, number 13 in maroon. As they work the ball, Hartnett to Colby. Now back to Julia Colby again. La Liberty launches for three. She got it! As Mairead La Liberty starts to heat up at the end of the first quarter, just a 2-point Edward Little lead now. Chaput almost lost the handle. Perry didn't get that. Rebound tipped for Adams. Oxford Hills can tie it with a 2 on this possession or take the lead with a 3. La Liberty drives, no good. Adams lost the handle, and it stays, though, with Oxford Hills as Perry got a touch to it.
Oxford Hills controlling the defensive glass now. Edward Little getting one shot.
Inbound to Julia Colby. Out top, Hartnett. La Liberty, right foul line extended. 23 seconds in the first quarter. Colby will take her time. 15 seconds left. Colby in the jump circle. Now 10 seconds in the quarter. She attacks the lane, kicks it out. Hartnett three, good! And Oxford Hills leads for the first time. Shot from half court, almost went. Looks like it would have counted, but it does not go. Your score after one is the Oxford Hills Vikings 12, the Edward Little Red Eddies 11. This is the Class AA North Girls Final on the CN Brown Energy Big Apple Stores NSN Broadcast Network.
Watch it.
Seems like a good time for a rally beard.
Probably going to take a miracle to get back in this game.
Is it doing it?
Yeah.
Roberts on the steal.
Wow.
We have done our work.
You can stop now.
Yeah, I wish I could.
A rally out of nowhere, and they are back in it.
Back to Cross Insurance Arena for the start of the second quarter. A 10-0 run to close that first quarter by top-seeded Oxford Hills. And now they're in front 12-11 on Edward Little to start the second quarter. Oxford Hills ball. It's Colby to Hartnett, and that jump shot rattles through.
Boy, the confidence is just running rampant in the white uniforms at this point. They were down 11-2 and now have a 3-point lead. What a terrific early comeback.
14-11 for the Vikings. Grace Fontaine. It was good in the early going for Edward Little, but had to check out after picking up 2 quick fouls midway through that first. Fontaine between her legs. Gives it to Grace Bodette. And now Julia Mix with the long jumper. It's good.
A little bit of confusion there. Jade Adams didn't get out to her, and as a result, she had a wide open 15-footer.
So that busts up the 12-0 run. Colby for 3. Good!
Gary Fifield, the coach at Chevrolet, said after that game that he hadn't seen a shooting performance like that in a long time, and now they're right back at it, the Vikings.
And Fontaine commits the travel as she's double teamed by Adams and Colby. And a 30-second timeout called for here with 6:39 to go in the second quarter.
This timeout, good call, because this is Coach Cifelli is just simply saying relax. We got a long ball game here. We don't have to score quickly or instantly. Let's just stay composed and move the ball.
Get the energy savings you deserve. CN Brown. Switch to CN Brown Energy. Support the company that supports your team. Visit us at cnbrownenergy.com to learn more. I'm Jeff Mannix alongside Rick Simons at Cross Insurance Arena. First of 4 games today. We'll decide regional champions both north and south on the girls' side in Class AA. Class AA girls north up first. AA South girls after this between Gorham and Scarborough. Follow this one. About 3:45 for the scheduled tip. Shot no good there, and EL clears the rebound. Grace Bodette able to get that to Chantel Willette. And now Piper Norcross near the jump circle with Colby guarding her. Norcross to Bodette. Grace Bodette held off the score sheet last time out after leading the Red Eddies in their quarterfinal win over Lewiston by 1 point. Shot here for Fontaine doesn't go. And the rebound by Maggie Hartnett. Colby to Dietrich. Passes to Hartnett. Margaret Hartnett again to Cecilia Dietrich. Right baseline drive, cut off. Kick out to Smedberg. Now the runner by Colby, no good, but she draws a foul. And the foul's on Willette, number 1 on her, but it's team foul number 6 on Edward Little.
That certainly could play a role here in the first half because they're in the bonus with the next foul and have proven to be very successful from the foul line.
Colby makes the first free throw of 2, so 5-point lead for the Vikings. And now it's 6. Largest of the game so far for the top seed.
Oxford Hills on a 17-2 run.
Fontaine, right wing to the foul line. Bounce pass Willette. Now Norcross. Perry, who was hot early with the basketball, kicks out to Fontaine. Grace Fontaine, good spin move into the lane, but she misses the shot, and Hartnett clears it. Dietrich into the lane. Looks to dump off to Adams. Now Colby will reset the half court. Drive was cut off for Dietrich. Liberty to Colby. Oxford Hills patient on this possession. Liberty to Hartnett. Batted away though and stolen by Fontaine. Coast to coast for the layup.
That's what we call in the business a tourniquet. Stop the bleeding, please.
And a three for Hartnett doesn't go. Rebound by Jade Perry as Edward Little looks to make it a one-possession game. Perry, bounce pass across the lane. Norcross has to pull it out. Fontaine drives, puts it up, and in.
Good no call. There's a bump there on the way to the basket, but she didn't lose, possession and rattled it in.
Colby gets the kiss that time. She's got 7 points now this quarter. 21-17. Vikings by 4 again. No one steps up on Perry, and she knocks down the tray.
Kind of interesting, like you say. She wasn't looking to shoot that, but she glanced around the perimeter. Nobody came to her, so she took it.
Mairead Liberty with the answer at the other end.
Right back at you.
Timeout called here with 3:32 to go in the second quarter. This is a full timeout this time.
Now this timeout, Coach Cifelli is lighting them up. Last time it was kind of like relax, everything's going well, we get a lot of time, and now he's not happy with the defenses being played, and he is vocal and vociferous.
Yeah, you saw the three-pointer from Perry. That was then answered immediately by Mairead Liberty. And here's Liberty's answer at the other end. Just launching that from the left corner as she continues to shoot really, really well here in these last couple of games for Oxford Hills.
Well, not known for her perimeter shooting. She now believes she's Klay Thompson.
10 points already for Mairead Liberty in this one, including back-to-back threes on back-to-back attempts here. One at the end of the first, and now one here midway through the second.
Confidence is a beautiful thing.
That it is. With the ball here, Edward Little's Piper Norcross, and now the pass for Perry, stolen inside. Dietrich runs in with it. Fontaine ripped it away. Dietrich recovered it. Liberty for three again. She's got another.
Well, why is it that as well as she's shooting, she's been open on several occasions? Don't leave her open if you're hoping to, as an Edward Little fan, get back in this ball game.
Chaput for three for the answer for Edward Little.
What an outstanding high school girls basketball game this is turning out to be.
And here's a three for Carson. That won't go. Norcross with the rebound for EL. Chaput cross court to Ouellette, and she got triple teamed, and it's stolen by Dietrich. Colby will slow it down. Mairead Liberty. Pass over to Dietrich. Back to Liberty. Colby out top. Dietrich into the lane, puts that one up, no good. Perry the rebound.
A left-hand runner, not necessarily the shot you want.
Fontaine attacks the paint, dumps off for Chaput for three. And the lead is down to one. 27-26. Strap in, folks. This looks like it'll be a great game. Liberty for three. It's good.
Get home, Henrietta.
I feel like we're watching the Golden State Warriors against the Houston Rockets right now.
Boy, there is some long-range pyrotechnics.
Perry, the runner, no. Put back Norcross, no. Perry put back, no, but she'll go to the line.
You know, I've said many times, when the ball is going in the basket, it's like ballet. It's a beautiful game. It can be awfully frustrating when no shots are dropping.
So Jade Perry to the line. The foul committed by Jada Adams was her first. And Perry hits the first free throw. Perry, a junior for Edward Little. And so far has 9 points. And she missed the free throw. Good job to pull the rebound in, though, by Bailey Whitney. Had to fight for it there, but managed to get it. Minute 13 left, second quarter. Ball batted and stolen. Willette ahead to Chapu. Chapu, and it's good, but it won't count.
Nice defensive play by Julia Colby. Terrific position. And, you know, that came off of Chapu. She made a nice jump stop and tried to step around her. She's on fire. That one didn't count, obviously, but she's made her last 3 or 4 shots.
Yeah, hit back-to-back threes earlier on in the quarter, and another good look there, but that was the third foul on Chapu with that charge.
Ouch.
They get it to Whitney. And travel called on the Vikings as we're under a minute left in the half.
She couldn't find anybody to pass to and tried to improve her passing angle a little bit.
47 seconds to go. Edward Little brings into the front court. Grace Bodette to Grace Fontaine. Now Jade Perry. She's likely the one they want with the ball in her hands, and she holds it now. No 5-second count as she hasn't tried to advance the ball yet. Now she does. 20 seconds left in the half. Perry gets around the pressure of LaLiberty. Kick out Fontaine, 3, no good. Rebounded by Whitney. 10 seconds left before halftime. Colby up to Dietrich, runs in. It's blocked by Willette, but got her on the arm.
Again, outstanding composure being shown, because when they gained possession of the ball, there was about 13 seconds. And I mean, 13 seconds, you can go from here to Biddeford in 13 seconds. A lot of times you'll see players throw up a half-court heave, but that was unnecessary, and she knew better.
5.4 seconds left in the half, and the first free throw no good for Dietrich. Foul was on Willette, her second. And that free throw will drop. Dietrich makes 1 of 2. As we're down to 2 seconds, running 3 won't go for Norcross, and that does it for the first half. It's a 4-point Oxford Hills lead at the break, 31-27, and both teams are shooting well in the first half.
Well, that was a very exciting first half. And again, oftentimes we've spoken about that it's a game of runs, and it was 11-2 Edward Little to begin, and then a 17-2 run for Oxford Hills. What a beautiful game it's been to this point.
Certainly is. 19-16 was the scoring in that quarter in favor of Oxford Hills. So we've reached halftime. Again, your score is the Oxford Hills Vikings 31 and the Edward Little Red Eddies 27. We're back with the halftime report. After this, you're watching the Class AA North Girls Regional Final on the CN Brown Energy and Big Apple Stores NSN Broadcast Network.
CN Brown Energy is the only local family-owned company bringing New England energy options to your home or business for over 70 years. You can trust us for your electricity and heating fuel needs to cool you in the summer, warm you in the winter, and keep your home or business going year-round. Visit us online at cnbrown.com to find an energy office near you. Support the company that supports your team. Stop by one of our 76 Big Apple stores for all your post-game treats on your ride home.
Watch it.
Another miss.
Seems like a good time for a rally beard.
Probably going to take a miracle to get back in this game.
Is it doing it?
Yeah. Roberts on the steal.
Wow.
We have done our work.
You can stop now.
Yeah, I wish I could.
A rally out of nowhere, and they are back in it.
CN Brown Energy is the only local family-owned company bringing New England complete energy options since 1948. We invite you to join our complete energy offering program to include electricity and all heating fuels. Visit cnbrownenergy.com to learn how to get the energy savings and value you deserve. In addition to being an energy provider, we own and operate 76 Big Apple stores throughout Maine and New Hampshire. We encourage you to stop by for all your post-game needs: gasoline, beverages, snacks, and more.
It's time to start thinking summer fun. Let Gibraltar Pools and Spas turn your backyard into a resort paradise. Winners of over 27 industry design awards with famous on-ground rectangular pools. At Gibraltar Pools and Spas, you'll get personal attention and cheerful friendliness. Call 1-800-USA-SWIM today and speak with your friends at Gibraltar Pools to schedule your backyard survey. It's time for you to check them out online at usaswim.com. That's usaswim.com. Build your own resort right in your yard. Gibraltar Pools online at usaswim.com or call them at 1-800-USA-SWIM.
Watch it.
Another miss.
Seems like a good time for a rally beard.
Probably going to take a miracle to get back in this game.
Is it doing it?
Yeah. Roberts on the steal.
Wow.
We have done our work.
You can stop now.
Yeah, I wish I could.
A rally out of nowhere, and they are back in it.
Get heating fuel and electricity from your local energy experts at CN Brown Energy. Count on New England's trusted energy provider to bring you a full range of electricity and fuel options for your home or business. In addition to being an energy provider, we own and operate 76 Big Apple stores throughout Maine and New Hampshire. We encourage you to stop by for all your post-game needs: gasoline, beverages, snacks, and more. Support the company that supports your team. CN Brown Energy, in business for 70 years. Heating oil and electricity offerings at cnbrownenergy.com.
Watch it.
Another miss.
Seems like a good time for a rally beard.
Probably going to take a miracle to get back in this game.
Is it doing it?
Yeah. Roberts on the steal.
Wow.
We have done our work.
You can stop now.
Yeah, I wish I could.
A rally out of nowhere, and they are back in it.
CN Brown Company's Big Apple stores are proud to support our youth and invite teams, family, and friends to stop in for post-game snacks, energy drinks, coffee, and more. Sign up for our rewards program and earn rewards every time you shop and fuel up at our Big Apple locations. Halftime at Cross Insurance Arena in the Class AA North Girls Regional Final. It's the top-seeded Oxford Hills Vikings 31, the third-seeded Edward Little Red Eddies 27. Scoring from the first half for EL, they're being led by Jade Perry. She has 9 points, 8 off the bench for Hannah Chapu, 6 points for Grace Fontaine, and 2 each for Julia Mix and Chantel Willette for their total of 27. For Oxford Hills, the leading scorer is Mairead LaLiberty, who set a single-game tournament record for Class AA North with 27 points. In the regional semifinal, she's got 16 through one half today. Julia Colby has 7. Margaret Hartnett with 5. 2 points for Jada Adams and 1 for Cecilia Dietrich for Oxford Hills, total of 31. As you see some of the first half highlights here, this was definitely a game of runs. As you mentioned, EL got out to that 11-2 lead, but Oxford Hills responded with that 19-2 spurt right after.
Well, and I commented on the fact that Nate Pelletier chose not to call a timeout. even though he was down 11-2. He has not taken a timeout yet in this ball game. Now that says a great deal about not only his confidence, as a coach, but he has a great feeling for what these girls are able to do, and felt that, hey, I don't need to rattle them. I don't need to, push the panic button. And he certainly has been proven right thus far.
Certainly has been to this point. Both teams shooting very well from outside. Oxford Hills has hit 6 3-pointers as a team already. Edward Little has hit 4. So this game definitely a game where both teams are shooting well from the outside. CN Brown Energy, in business for 70 years and proud supporters of the MPA basketball tournament. CN Brown Company offers value, experience, and everyday low prices on heating oil, kerosene, liquid propane, and other energy products. Learn more at cnbrownenergy.com. We'll also remind you that you can purchase an NSN DVD, and you'll not only be able to remember the time you beat your rival or that big play, you can watch them over and over again. Visit store.nsnsports.net to purchase this game and many more on DVD. When we come back, it'll be time for the second half. Again, the halftime score in the Class AA North Girls Regional Final is Oxford Hills 31, Edward Little 27. You're watching it on the CN Brown Energy Big Apple Stores NSN Broadcast Network.
Notice the half.
Is the only local family-owned company bringing New England energy options to your home or business for over 70 years. You can trust us for your electricity and heating fuel needs to cool you in the summer, warm you in the winter, and keep your home or business going year-round. Visit us online at cnbrown.com to find an energy office near you. Support the company that supports your team. Stop by one of our 76 Big Apple stores for all your post-game treats on your ride home.
Watch it.
Another miss.
Seems like a good time for a rally, Beard.
Probably going to take a miracle to get back in this game.
Is it doing it?
Yeah.
Roberts on the steal.
Wow.
We have done our work.
You can stop now.
Yeah, I wish I could.
A rally out of nowhere, and they are back in it.
CN Brown Energy is the only local family-owned company bringing New England complete energy options since 1948. We invite you to join our complete energy offering program to include electricity and all heating fuels. Visit cnbrownenergy.com to learn how to get the energy savings and value you deserve. In addition to being an energy provider, we own and operate 76 Big Apple stores throughout Maine and New Hampshire. We encourage you to stop by for all your post-game needs: gasoline, beverages, snacks, and more.
CN Brown Company, with 76 Big Apple stores throughout Maine and New Hampshire, proudly supports high school basketball online at cnbrown.com. I'm Jeff Mannix alongside Rick Simons. It is a 31-27 lead for the Oxford Hills Vikings against the Edward Little Red Eddies here at Cross Insurance Arena in the Class AA Girls North Regional Final. The Girls AA South Regional Final follows this one. That's between 5th-seeded Gorham and 2nd-seeded Scarborough. Edward Little will begin with the basketball in the second half, wearing the road maroon jerseys going from right to left. Oxford Hills in the home whites with green trim going left to right. Willette to Piper Norcross. And now it's Perry. Can't get that one to go. And almost losing the handle on the outlet was Hartnett, but Colby able to pull it in for Oxford Hills. Dietrich drives in. Can't get that to go. And Jade Perry with the rebound for EL.
You see a lot of girls when they play use that left hand on the left-hand side. I think most guys would have taken that right-handed, their strong hand, from about 9 or 10 feet.
Good move by Perry, but can't get the runner to go. She followed her own shot, missed again, and Jada Adams cleared that rebound for Oxford Hills. Pass makes it to Hartnett. Inside to Adams, blocked by Perry, and Willett lost it out of bounds. As Mairead LaLiberty was right there.
Nice defense inside. Jade Adams really has struggled to score in the 2 tournament games that we've seen here at the Cross Insurance Arena.
LaLiberty catches the inbound, throws up the wild one, no good as Beaudet gets the rebound for Edward Little. Piper Norcross gets it to Willett, right corner, and LaLiberty almost ripped it away, but it goes out of bounds and stays with the Eddies.
Mairead doing a little bit of everything here. We noted, you talked about the outstanding three-point shooting here in this ball game, and in the 2 games thus far, she has 8 three-pointers, which breaks another record of 6, set also by Abby Cavallero.
So an impressive tournament here for Mairead LaLiberty. She's a senior, so this is her last kick at the can in high school basketball. There's a shot that will go for Jade Perry, and it's the first bucket of the second half and pulls EL to within 2.
Perry really has been the offense for EL thus far.
LaLiberty to Dietrich, driving in, the runner, front rim's no good, and EL can tie this time down the floor or take the lead with a 3. They haven't led since midway through the second quarter. Beaudet gets it to Perry, thought about 3, moves it inside instead, and that one halfway down and popped out.
Kind of a nice little floater from 6-7 feet.
Yeah, that was the right play, just didn't go down. Colby to Hartnett. LaLiberty, right elbow, gives to Colby. Into the lane, kick out. LaLiberty open for 3, doesn't go. She's fouled. It's after the shot, and that is the 4th foul on Hannah Chaput.
Well, that's inexcusable. First of all, you've got 3 fouls, so you don't want to pick up a 4th. And secondly, you don't need to foul in the act of a 3-point shot.
Yeah, it's officially going to be after the shot, so no free throws. So Chaput lucks out a little bit there, but you're right. That is not something Coach Chris Cifelli wants to see. That is a big spark plug off the bench there, Hannah Chaput, that has to go back to the bench. 3, no good for LaLiberty. And the rebound by Fontaine for EL. She runs the floor on the right side. Needs some help now. Gets it to Jade Perry. Back to Fontaine. Skip pass to Norcross. Just to the left of the key. Perry to the right of the key. Gives to Norcross. That pass loose on the floor. Recovered by Beaudet after Depot almost lost it. Perry.
Fortuitous. She didn't even see the pass coming, but they did maintain possession.
Yeah, she was trying to screen instead of looking for a pass. Norcross here to Fontaine. Great move. The wild one, however, won't go. As Cifelli wanted a foul call, didn't get it. Colby, no. And it's a charge on Julia Colby. Number 2 on her.
I'd like to see where that defensive play was. Was she inside the... tough to tell on that replay, because again, they have the arc there underneath the basket, and you can't draw an offensive foul if you're too deep, but tough to tell on that quick play.
Fontaine to Perry. Edward Little down by just 2, 4:20 to go, third quarter. They'll work it to Norcross, skip pass to Perry. Inside, that one front rim's no good for Grace Beaudet. Only 2 points scored nearly halfway through the third quarter, and they belong to EL. Runner is good for Brooke Carson, her first 2 of the game, and Oxford Hills is back up by 4. Beaudet to Fontaine for Edward Little. Errant pass, tipped, last touched by Cecilia Dietrich, and EL to keep it.
Yeah, that was fortunate, because that pass right there by Fontaine easily could have been picked off and had an easy open court layup.
Norcross to Depot. Fontaine thought about three, takes an elbow jumper instead and knocks it down. 8 points for Grace Fontaine for EL. Back to a 2-point Oxford Hills lead. Maraid LaLiberty to Dietrich. Dietrich off a foot, loose in the lane, and it's grabbed by Jade Perry for Edward Little. Fontaine gives it to Perry for three. It's good, and Edward Little takes the lead.
And once again, outside, clearly outside the college three, and I believe outside the NBA three.
So it's Dietrich looking for some help, has to lob it back out for LaLiberty. LaLiberty, bounce pass. They'll kick it back to LaLiberty for three, no good. And Fontaine with the rebound as Oxford Hills is cold to start the second half. Fontaine had it ripped away, loose on the floor now, and foul called, I believe, on Fontaine, which would give her three.
Well, Liberty unable to knock down that three that she's been so successful with in the first half, and she's getting good looks.
And it is indeed on Grace Fontaine. So she has committed 3 personals, and she checks out.
I believe, Jeff, that Oxford Hills has only committed 4 fouls as a team thus far in the game.
They have. They've played a very clean defensive game so far. They're down by 1 and a turnover by Oxford Hills as the pass from Dietrich intended to go inside to Bailey Whitney was over her head. Reminder that today's game is brought to you in part by the friendly folks at Maine Salt, online at mainsalt.com. Perry turns and shoots for EL. That one popped halfway down and came out, but an offensive rebound for Caroline Hammond.
Even Perry's misses look good.
That they do. Bodette now, Perry for 3. That won't go either. Oxford Hills can retake the lead this time down the floor. LaLiberty, reach-in foul will go on Piper Norcross, which is her second. Third team foul on Edward Little in the second half as Adams comes back in. Jada Adams replaces Bailey Whitney. Minute 49 left, third quarter. Julia Colby with it for the Vikings to LaLiberty. Hand off Adams to Dietrich. LaLiberty out top that goes as Carson. It's knocked out of bounds by Norcross as EL being very active on the defensive end. Corner inbound to come. Carson comes out. Maggie Hartnett back in. Julia Mix back in for Edward Little to give Jade Perry a break here. Late third quarter.
Don't get too comfortable on the bench there, Miss Perry.
Good pass underneath, and Adams can't get it to go as Mix had the hand in the passing lane, but the outlet stolen. Dietrich's shot doesn't go. Had her own rebound, but it's wrestled away by Hammond.
Yeah, terrific play on that defensive end by Dietrich, but kind of a ill-advised shot.
And it's Willette. That's the bounce pass to Hammond. Norcross. Bodette for Willette. And Norcross to Bodette. 53 seconds to go, third quarter. Bodette's bounce pass to Willette. Norcross again. Bodette. Edward Little looks like they want to take time off the clock. Willette attacks, puts the shot up, doesn't go. Rebound tip to LaLiberty. Oxford Hills down 1 with the ball. 30 seconds to go in the quarter. Colby launches 3 and hits it.
Up until that point, they'd scored but 2 points this quarter.
36-34, Vikings back up by 2. Under 20 seconds to go, third quarter. Willett, it's EL with the ball. Chantel Willett, 10 seconds to go in the quarter. Bodette with 7. Now Mix with 5. Norcross with 2. The shot up, no good. And we'll head to the fourth with a 2-point Oxford Hills lead. It's Oxford Hills 36, Edward Little 34. You're watching the Class AA North Girls Regional Final on the CN Brown Energy and Big Apple Stores NSN Broadcast Network.
CN Brown Energy is the only local family-owned company bringing New England energy options to your home or business for over 70 years. You can trust us for your electricity and heating fuel needs to cool you in the summer, warm you in the winter, and keep your home or business going year-round. Visit us online at cnbrown.com to find an energy office near you. Support the company that supports your team. Stop by one of our 76 Big Apple stores for all your post-game treats on your ride home.
We welcome you back to Cross Insurance Arena, downtown Portland, Maine. It's the Class AA Girls North Regional Final after a quarter in which both teams shot the lights out in the second. 7-5, 12 points combined in the third quarter, with Edward Little outscoring Oxford Hills 7-5 in that quarter to pull to within 2, but they still trail 36-34. Oxford Hills with the lead will start the fourth quarter with the basketball.
Jeff, would it surprise you if this game went right down to the final possession?
Not at all. It kind of looks like that's
really,
the way it's going.
It just has the feel of that.
Shot for 3 doesn't go that time for Colby, and out of bounds it goes. Hey folks, NSN has a new app to help your viewing experience. Just go to the iPhone or Android App Store and search NSN Sports. Edward Little trying to tie or take the lead. This time down the floor, knocked away from Fontaine, but it'll stay with the Red Eddies.
Another outstanding defensive play by Dietrich.
As Fontaine inbounds to Willett. Chantel Willett to Piper Norcross. The high post Perry. Bodette back to Perry. Willett, Fontaine, Perry, Willett. They find Fontaine again. Back to Willett. Runner, no good, but she draws the contact and goes to the line.
Oxford Hills has played terrific defense in this ball game without fouling. Only their 5th foul of the game. And just an outstanding job of helping and recovering and switching off that high screen.
First free throw, good for Chantel Willett. Pulls the Red Eddies to within 1. That was the second foul on Cecilia Dietrich. Only the second foul of the half and 5th of the game on Oxford Hills. And the free throw ties the game, 36 apiece. Early fourth quarter. Dietrich throws ahead to Hartnett. Back over the head of Dietrich and out of bounds. Edward Little ball.
Yuck.
Yeah, that won't make Nate Pelletier happy.
No, it's, you know, you don't want to pass that ball virtually across court. You know, had that been stolen, it was a layup. Just not a good decision.
So Edward Little with the score tied as we go below 7 minutes to go in regulation. As Grace Fontaine gets it to Perry. Perry lobs over to Grace Baudette. Nice drive, and Baudette can't get the layup to go. Oxford Hills the other way, running the floor, Colby.
Once again, Jada Adams, overcommitted, was fortunate.
Dietrich's shot doesn't go. La Liberty had it, and it's knocked out of bounds that time by Norcross. So Oxford Hills will keep the ball, and Edward Little fans over here on the near side were shouting for a foul on Dietrich for the push-off on Fontaine that didn't get called.
It'll be interesting to see how long Coach Cifelli goes without putting in Hannah Chaput.
That didn't go for Dietrich, but an offensive rebound. Good job by Adams to fight for it. Liberty inside, laying good, and Oxford Hills leads by 2.
This EL team is certainly better with Chaput on the floor, but with 4 fouls, you have to make a tough call. You know, do I put you in with 4 minutes to go? And it comes back a little bit to having confidence in the player that she's not going to commit a silly foul.
Start your day the Big Apple way. Support the company that supports your team. Fuel up at the Big Apple stores. 38-36, Oxford Hills by 2. Edward Little with the ball. 6 minutes to go, fourth quarter. Fontaine at the foul line, needs some help, finds it. Norcross to Bodette. Perry for 3. It's good!
Wow. That was not an easy 3. She was not open. She had a defender on her strong side.
Jade Perry has 4 3-pointers now and has 17 points in the game. EL by 1, and now they get a steal.
Again, Jada Adams unable to maintain possession in the low post.
Norcross between the rings to Chantel Willette. Bounce pass to Perry. Perry gets it back from Fontaine. Tried to drive it inside, but it's off Adams' legs, and Dietrich pulls it in for the Vikings. Now it's Brooke Carson getting it out to Colby. Dietrich drives, puts it up. No! And Perry rips the rebound away from 2 white jerseys. Jade Perry with the ball, and timeout called by Chris Cifelli here with 4:47 left, and Edward Little ahead by 1.
The third timeout called by Cifelli, and Nate Pelletier yet to use any of his 5.
Perry right there, you saw with that strong rebound over 2 Oxford Hills players, and if there's been anybody for Edward Little today, especially here in the second half, that has made key plays on both ends of the floor, it is Jade Perry.
She's had a terrific ball game and really kept this team. She got off to a good start, scored the first, several points, and like you said, come again in the second half.
See the Oxford Hills cheerleaders. They've brought a good contingent here from South Paris.
The Hills are alive.
That they are. About a 1 hour or so drive here for the folks from South Paris. They've got to go through Auburn, where Edward Little is located, in fact, to get to Portland. As Auburn, maybe about 15 minutes or so closer to Portland than South Paris. Jade Perry with the ball once again here. Her team up 1. The dump off to Bodette. She's double teamed and got it to Willette. Norcross drives in and draws the foul.
Good penetration. We talked about it before the game. One of the keys. Attacking the basket by the Red Eddies.
As the foul on that play is on Dietrich, and that's her 3rd. And the roll drops that time for Norcross. Back rim glass and down. 40-38 Red Eddies. And make it 41-38. EL's 4 for 4 from the line this quarter.
I fully expect Oxford Hills to hit a 3. Only because that's the nature of this game, staying so close.
Cassidy Dumont worked the ball to Carson. Now Dumont again to Dietrich. Good spin into the lane. Kick out for Carson. Back to Dumont. And Dietrich between the rings. Make that Colby drives, almost taken away by Norcross. Right baseline drive, Carson, kick out, Liberty, runner, good. 20 points for Mairead Liberty, and her team's down 1. Adams here to Fontaine, nice drive, didn't get it. Foul on the rebound against Edward Little. It looks like it's Fontaine. If it is, it's her 4th. Nope, it is not Fontaine. It's Grace Bodette, which is only her 1st.
Edward Little, Oxford Hills was real fortunate there because they didn't rotate on that penetration, and we're fortunate that they didn't get scored upon and ultimately get fouled in the rebound.
Maggie Hartnett to Cecilia Dietrich. Hartnett once more. Dietrich just to the left of the key. Another corner here for Brooke Carson, or pardon me, Hartnett. Now it's Dietrich. Nifty little crossover, and the layup is good, but it won't count. It's a travel.
Kind of an interesting observation. Mairead Liberty set up inside that time, unable to get to touch the ball. I mean, she's been kind of roaming the perimeter.
Perry left alone, jump shot, no. Bodette offensive rebound, gets it back to Perry. Fontaine penetrates, can't get that to go, and Colby wants to run the floor for Oxford Hills. She puts up the runner, an ill-advised shot. Hartnett can't save it in.
Colby 1-on-3, and as you said, really shouldn't have taken that shot. There was nobody near the rebound.
Edward Little gets the ball back. 2:38 to go. Class AA North championship game. 41-40. Edward Little ahead of Oxford Hills. Hartnett commits the foul.
Both teams now with 4, so really not either of them in danger of sending their opponent to the foul line.
2:37, bit of an eternity though left in this one, especially with the score this close. Oxford Hills in the press, trying to cause problems. Norcross breaks it. Fontaine gets it back to Norcross. Now Bodette back again to Norcross. Fontaine for 3, and she hits!
What a big shot.
44-40, Edward Little by 4. Colby to Liberty, make that Adams. It's good and a foul.
Nice penetration and dish inside to Jade Adams.
Third foul on Chantel Willette. Jada Adams to make it a 3-point play. And the free throw, good. A 1-point game again.
This is championship basketball.
2 minutes to go. And a steal for Oxford Hills. It's Julia Colby.
That ball went right through the hands of Piper Norcross.
Dietrich drives in. Oh, it ends up in Jada Adams' hands, and she lays it in. Oxford Hills up 1.
She just out-muscled her opponent on that play.
Norcross here for Edward Little, now down by a point. It's Fontaine. 3 on the way is short and saved in. No, not saved in. As Fontaine had a toe on the end line. Timeout called by Oxford Hills. They want a full here with 1:24 left. As you see that three-pointer that didn't quite have enough on it for Norcross.
Well, and with 1:24, that's an awful long time to completely stall. I would I wouldn't be surprised if he set up a special play trying to get that 3-point lead. Neither team is in a 1-on-1 type situation yet. That may develop. 1:24
left here in the Class AA North Girls Final. Oxford Hills, the top seed, against Edward Little, the 3 seed. Oxford Hills is the defending regional champion. Edward Little won it in 2016. 45-44 the score. They split the regular season series with neither game particularly close. Edward Little won by 7, while Oxford Hills won their victory by 16. This one looks like we're going right down to the end.
Well, I got nothing to do this evening, so if this game wants to go 3 or 4 overtimes, I'm ready.
We, in fact, saw the Scarborough girls in the runway getting ready as they'll play the Class AA South Regional Final next against Gorham. Gorham, the 2-time defending Class AA State Girls Basketball champion. Minute 10 to go. Oxford Hills up 1 with the ball. Dietrich, double team, backs it out for La Liberty. Down to a minute left. La Liberty near half court.
Get a 5-second count.
Timeout called. That time by Pelletier to save that, exactly as you were mentioning. I think that was very close to a 5-second call.
Yeah, look, the closely guarded rule. And, of course, you know, they have almost 14 seconds. You can hold the ball 4.9, dribble it for 4.9, you know, and then hold it for 4.9. But you can't just dribble it across the front. And that's what it looked like she was going to do if Nate Pelletier hadn't called the timeout.
Possession arrow, if we do have a tie-up right now, belongs to Edward Little. Oxford Hills with 3 timeouts left, Edward Little with 2. Both teams with at least a couple fouls to give before the bonus. Oxford Hills has 3 to give, Edward Little has 2.
I got to be honest, I'm surprised that Hannah Chaput has not been put in the game. I talked about that in the start of the 4th quarter because I think she's such a spark plug for this team. But Coach Cifelli knows what he's doing by all means.
And Chantel Willett commits the reach in here with 45.8 seconds to go. Willett's 4th and the 6th team foul. So the next one puts Oxford Hills in the 1-and-1. So Oxford Hills will inbound from in front of their bench on the far side. Timeout Oxford Hills again as Dietrich was having trouble inbounding.
It's a good thing he saved all 5 because he's needed them, and now they're both down to 2.
That's a 30-second timeout. So 45.8 seconds to go. Class AA North Regional Girls Championship is on the line.
Real good crowd here now, as you mentioned, the crowd from the 2nd game has started to fill in, and they're seeing a terrific first ball game.
That they are. 2 communities that are definitely close to Portland playing for the AA South Championship, Scarborough and Gorham. And backcourt violation. Colby caught it on the front court side, moved into the backcourt. Grace Fontaine was right in her shirt.
Did she have possession of the ball? Because if she fumbled that ball.
Let's look at it here.
I think she had possession.
Yeah, that's definite possession.
Had she not had possession, it would not have been a backcourt violation.
So Edward Little down 1 with the ball. Fontaine gives the Eddies the lead. 46-45, 30 seconds to go. Colby at the other end, no, and it's a charge on Colby.
Wow, Fontaine hit the big 3 earlier. She made that shot there. Now we're going to play some defense.
Chris Cifelli, the Edward Little coach, calls timeout. As you see the defensive play right there. And it's Jade Perry that took the charge, although looking at the replay, her back of her head hit the floor pretty hard. We'll see it again right now. She definitely set herself. She's up straight.
Ouch.
But yeah, the back of her head crashed on the floor pretty hard.
And she was definitely outside of the arc. She was in position. Good call. You know, so often I tell players you don't want to catch the ball in the forecourt from a half-court inbounds pass. Go into the backcourt, and you don't have to worry about that violation.
It's 27.3 seconds to go. It will be an Edward Little ball. They'll have to bring it all the way up the floor, though, against an Oxford Hills press. They have the 1-point lead. Oxford Hills has 2 fouls to give before the Eddies are in the 1-and-1. They'll get it in, and looks like they're going to try to move it up the floor quickly, and a foul called as Dietrich couldn't get it away from Willette.
Not a bad foul.
4th foul on Dietrich.
Now
16 foul.
Yep, now both teams with 6, both teams in the 1-and-1. They let Jade Adams stay home, what we call center field. So not to give up their layups, should somebody curl and go deep.
Colby comes out. Dumont comes in. That's a defensive substitution for Oxford Hills. Fontaine catches the inbound, tries to move away from the pressure, and the foul committed by Brooke Carson, her first, and that will put Edward Little in the bonus with 17.6 seconds to go. 1-and-1 coming for Grace Fontaine.
I'm not sure if Fontaine is the player you want to foul. Obviously, you don't have a choice because she had the ball, but she's come up big here in the last couple of minutes.
5 points this quarter, 13 for the game. Free throw is no good. And Oxford Hills has a chance, down 1 with 13 seconds left. Batted away, Edward Little steals the ball. Pelletier wanted a foul, didn't get it. Norcross is fouled with 6.3 seconds left.
Wow. As well as Mairead Liberty has played, she didn't see or feel that defender coming up from behind and got stripped from behind.
Yeah, Fontaine once again made the defensive play with Chantel Willette tipping the ball to Perry. Norcross on the line for 1-and-1.
Big free throws here.
Made the first. It's going to be a one-possession game no matter what, but if she makes this, it would force Oxford Hills to hit a 3 to tie.
In the NBA, you get to call timeout and advance it, but I guess they won't do that here.
Oh, missed it. Ball's loose, grabbed by Fontaine, and she knocked it out of bounds off Oxford Hills.
Boy, everything she touches turns to gold right now.
3.7 seconds to go. Bodette to inbound. 2-point Edward Little lead. They got it to Norcross, who will head back to the line, as Colby fouls with 2.5 to go.
Dangerous inbound pass. You don't want to make that pass in the direction of the Oxford Hills basket, because if that got tipped, they would have had time to dribble down and make the layup. There's a case where you want to make that inbounds pass towards your basket.
Julia Colby just committed her 5th personal, so she's fouled out with 10 points. Free throw, first to the 1-and-1 is good for Norcross. The lead is 3. And with 2.5 seconds to go, this one will ice it if it's good. It's up, no good. And Oxford Hills calls timeout. Only half a second comes off the clock, but they will have to advance it the entire way with only 2 seconds left.
And hit a 3. Well, good time out there, because now what you've got to do is, you know, a lot of different plays. You may remember the Valpo play where they, throw it to the man, or with Duke's play where they catch it at the foul line and then kick it back out for the immediate 3. Several opportunities.
So it will be Oxford Hills ball out of the timeout. Each team has one timeout left. Again, if we have a held ball, the alternating possession belongs to Edward Little, a team that is up by 3 points in the Class AA North Regional Final. First of the regional finals in the state today, and the first of 4 here at Cross Insurance Arena. AA South girls after this to Scarborough and Gorham. 3:45 the scheduled tip, and now Edward Little calls timeout.
Coach Cifelli wanted to see what design was Oxford Hills had set up. They had the 2 players at the foul line. Obviously having to go the length of the court, and this is a big court. This is obviously larger than the typical high school court, so that pass has to be made about 70 feet. It's a 93-foot court, so you've got to make that 75-foot pass, which is sometimes difficult for the young lady, and then tip it or catch it and pass it to whoever's breaking for the open 3.
So Dietrich will inbound. Oxford Hills will set 2 players on both sides of the floor here.
These 2 will probably be curling.
And it goes all the way down and out of bounds. No one touched it. Edward Little ball.
Well-designed play, but unfortunate for Oxford Hills. The pass was errant.
So EL gets the ball with 2 seconds to go and up by 3 under their own bucket. Norcross gets it in, and time runs out. The Edward Little Red Eddies advance to the state championship game in Class AA girls.
What a terrific ball game. You know, I mentioned, Jeff, that the Edward Little team came into the playoffs having lost 4 of their last 7 games. And boy, that's coaching, when you're able to instill confidence and turn it around. And they had just a terrific run through the tournament.
They most certainly did. So the Edward Little Red Eddies, a pretty storied girls high school basketball program, especially within the last 10 years or so, advances to another state title game here. And will get to play for a gold ball state championship games in Class AA right here at Cross Insurance Arena on Thursday night. 6 o'clock is the tip for the girls game as the Edward Little Red Eddies, the number 3 seed, pull the upset on the top-seeded Oxford Hills Vikings.
The custodians are bringing out the ladders. The scissors will be ready. And the traditional cutting of the nets will begin.
So we're going through the final statistics here right now. Oxford Hills scoring looks like this. They're led by Mairead LaLiberty, 20 points today. Great showing for the senior in her final high school basketball game as the Red Eddies start the tradition of cutting down the nets here at Cross Insurance Arena. So they'll get to take those home back to Auburn at Edward Little High School for the souvenir for the North A crown. So LaLiberty with 20 for Oxford Hills. Julia Colby had 10. Jada Adams with 7. Maggie Hartnett with 5. Brooke Carson with 2. Cecilia Dietrich with 1 for their total of 45. As one net is down, the other coming down.
Kind of interesting. A lot of times they let each player cut a cord, but one player on each end did the honors here.
So as we go through the scoring for Edward Little, their leading scorer tonight, Jade Perry, the junior, with 17 points. Grace Fontaine had 13. A great showing for her, especially as she was in some foul trouble early on. 8 points for Hannah Chapu, and, well, she was in foul trouble most of the way. Didn't even play again after early in the third quarter when she picked up her 4th. 4 points each for Chantel Willett and Piper Norcross, and for Norcross especially, they all came at the line down the stretch. And 2 points for Julia Mix to round it out for the total of 48 points for Edward Little as they improve to 14-7 on the year and advance to the state championship game, while Oxford Hills, who were the reigning Class AA North Regional champs, end the 2017-18 season at 7-4. As you hear, or as you see, some of the highlights to this one, as Edward Little able to take the lead for good right there. Grace Fontaine with the layup to put them ahead.
Big play right there on the defense when Julia Colby penetrated and was called for the offensive foul.
And then Edward Little making a great defensive play with 12 seconds to go as the Edward Little Red Eddies are the Class AA North Regional champions, and the individual awards being given right now to the runners-up in A North from Oxford Hills. And we've talked about what a phenomenal team this is and what a great program that Nate Pelletier has set up there in South Paris. This team only has 2 seniors, one, Emily Corbett, who we didn't see at all here in these 2 games across Insurance Arena, and the other, Mairead LaLiberty, who maybe played the best 2 games of her life here this week.
She had just a terrific tournament. 47 points between the 2 games, just outstanding.
Set a regional tournament Class AA North record here as well, with 8 3-pointers combined in the 2 games for Mairead LaLiberty, and will definitely be a favorite to make the all-tournament team here without a doubt. But going forward for this Oxford Hills team, they're not going anywhere with returning some of the firepower that they have. Jada Adams is back, Julia Colby back again, Cecilia Dietrich and Maggie Hartnett, 2 starters, are only sophomores. So Oxford Hills is going to have future opportunities here. They got to the state title game a year ago and came up short, but they'll look forward now to December and the start of another season.
Well, and of course summer basketball is prevalent now, but you know, one thing that should be mentioned, so far all 3 number 1 seeds have gone down. We saw the South Portland girls, number 1 in the AA South, lose. Obviously the Vikings of Oxford Hills, and then the boys side, Portland, number 1, was beaten, leaving only Scarborough, the Scarborough boys, as the only number 1 seed left to play.
Left standing, and they'll play the final game tonight, the Class AA South Boys Regional Final, as they play South Portland. Oxford Hills just got their runner-up plaque, and now Edward Little gets to celebrate here as they are going back to another state championship game. They were a team that lifted a few gold balls here over the last decade in Class A, and then with the shift up to Class AA, this team is heading to a state title game for the 2nd time in 3 years as Mairead LaLiberty gets the runner-up plaque for Oxford Hills. Clearly disappointed, but what a game this was, and a great showing here for Oxford Hills, as we mentioned.
Well, and what a terrific job Coach Chris Cifelli did with this club. As I mentioned, you know, just took a team and had been coached for a long time, you know, by another gentleman who did just a superb job, and he just molded them into his image, and they played hard, they played unselfish.
Well, certainly did. Edward Little's assistant coaches are Donna Daigle and Emily Hartnett. You see them next to Chris Cifelli as the individual medals being awarded right now, as the Red Eddies get to come back to this building on Friday night, March the 2nd, to play for the state championship game. Their opponents, their possible opponents, are waiting in the wings to warm up for the Class AA South regional crown. That's second-seeded Scarborough against fifth-seeded and two-time defending Class AA state champions Gorham, and that, I will suspect, will probably be just about as entertaining as this one.
Well, I would expect nothing less. You know, when I mentioned the gentleman that stepped aside, Craig Gibson, you know, he didn't step too far because now he's an assistant with the boys program, an opportunity to work with his son Storm. So, again, there's a close-knit community in Auburn and Edward Little, and we've seen it throughout the winter.
No, certainly is. Pretty good athletics year for Edward Little as well. Their football team won the regular season Class A North crown for the first time in, I think, gosh, almost 2 decades. For the first time there since Edward Little's football program did that well. And now the Edward Little girls win the Class AA North Regional Championship and will bring the plaque over to the near side to their fans.
Kind of a neat scene, and we'll more than likely see that in tomorrow's paper.
Absolutely. So Edward Little has advanced to the Class AA North Girls State Championship game. They await an opponent. Class AA South Girls Regional Final is coming up. It's a scheduled 3:45 tip, so we'll step aside for a little bit. But we do want to remind you that if you want to remember that big play or the time you beat your rival, you can purchase this and many other games through NSN DVD, and you'll not only be able to remember them, you can watch them over and over again. Visit store.nsnsports.net to purchase this game and many more on DVD. For Rick Simons and for our producer CJ, my name is Jeff Mannix, reminding you for one final time here in this broadcast from Cross Insurance Arena in Portland. Your final score in the Class AA Girls North Regional Final is the Edward Little Red Eddies 48 and the Oxford Hills Vikings 45. The Class AA South Girls Final is coming up in mere minutes, and you'll see it on the CN Brown Energy Big Apple Stores NSN Broadcast Network.